What's up, guys? I've had a couple of requests to do an external antenna mod on a Linksys E1200, which is also the Linksys N300 wireless N router. So I picked one up, took it apart, looked at it, and today I'll show you the process of disassembling the router and how to install an external antenna on it. I've already done this once, tested the antenna in my house. I have a two-story house, and the external antenna is a significant increase with signal coverage as far as signal strength and also distance away from the router. It's a pretty significant increase. So it might be worth your time looking into. The parts to upgrade it are relatively cheap. You just need a SMA antenna, which I get them for about $250 off the internet, so it's not much, and then just the actual antenna that screws on top of it. First thing you need to do is to take apart the router. There's one screw here. Just remove the screw. The rest of it's held together by mechanical retention, which most routers are. Just pop it apart pretty much, and it comes apart. What we're going to be looking at today, I'll turn it around so you can see better, is this solder connection here, which leads to the external antenna in the back. I've already done a couple things. I've already drilled a hole in the back here. That's where our external antenna is going to go, and I've already broken the external or the internal antenna away from the plastic retention that held it in. What I'm going to do now is just remove it here from the motherboard. I've already got my soldering iron heated to, I use 760 degrees Fahrenheit, but I'm sure that's probably a little overkill for most people. That's how I like it. It seems to work well for me. Some people have asked what type of soldering station I use. I actually use a digital soldering iron from Radio Shack, which it's just a Weller rebrand. You know, it's just something Radio Shack rebranded as their own and sold locally. They had it in the store, Radio Shack store close to me on clearance for, I think it was less than $30. So I went ahead and picked it up, and I've been using it for about a year now, and it works really well. So you can see I just removed the internal antenna from the board. I went ahead and tinned the ends of the external antenna we're going to put on. I'm going to go ahead and solder those now. Pretty much just solder them the same way that the other one was. The shielding, or people call it the ground, goes to the large solder point on the board, and then the smaller wire that's inside goes to the smaller contact on the board. And that's all I've done. That's all you need to do. The next is to route the antenna out the back. You see there. It's a 1/4 size hole. And I use stepper bits or varial drill bits. People have a couple different names for them, but I use these a lot. If you're into modding or anything like I am, these stepper bits are great. I like them because they provide a cleaner hole when you're drilling into plastics or MDF or acrylic than just a standard drill bit of that same size. What I usually do is if I'm going to do, let's say, a 1/4 hole, I'll use a smaller drill bit to start the hole, but then I'll switch to one of the stepper bits and put the drill on a really low speed and go from that way. And you can't see it here, but there are sizes etched on the bit on the inside here, which show you the size. This is Sharpie, both of here for previous projects. I'll color that spot on the variable bit, which will tell me I either need to go up to that spot or drill past to here. And that rubs off with alcohol if you care that much to take it off. But these are great. I got these from Harbor Freight. It was about $5 for 3 of them, and they come 3 different sizes. There's a smaller one that's not shown here, but these are great. So if you do any type of modding or drilling into plastics, acrylics, MDF, or anything like that, look into using these. It makes drilling the holes a lot easier, and it's also nice because if you use, let's say you're going here, which is a 5/16, you can use the 11/32 beginning to smooth the outer edge of the hole, and it makes it very clean. Makes it look like the hole was casted when they did the injection molding of the casings. It cleans it up and makes it look really good. So get yourself a pair of those. I've had a couple people ask me what I use for stuff like that. So back to this. I've got it soldered on. I've got the antenna routed to the back, coming out the back here. I'm just going to put the lock washer on and put the nut on it and tighten it up. That's it there. Go ahead and put your cable, kind of hide your cable back the same way. Use the routing pieces that were included for the internal antenna here. I just left it like this. It'll kind of raise back up a little bit. You can tape it down a little bit if you're really worried about it, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. But that's it. That's all you have to do. So you take your internal antenna right here, take it out. You can see that's all the antenna is. It's just a piece of metal. Sorry about that. Let's fix this here. So that's all. It's just a piece of metal. These work well. For the wireless in routers. The Linksys wireless in routers are pretty good. I don't use Linksys anymore at this point. I have an Asus router. Easily the best router I've ever used. I'll do a review of that later. But that's it. Take that out, throw it away, do whatever you want, save it in case you want to revert this back to how it came, even though I have a hole in there. Throw it back together. Really easy to do. Throw your screw back in it. Here, you're done. You're ready to go. So now you have the external antenna on your Linksys E1200, also known as the N300 Wi-Fi router. I'll include a link in the description where you can get these adapters. When I buy them, they do not come with the actual antenna itself. A pack of 5 antennas that screw onto here, I think, is another $2 or $3. So for about $5 or $6, you can get a couple of these and save them for future products. I've done this mod to probably a good 30 or 40 routers after people saw the first video I did, which was of the Linksys D657 media router. You can watch that review and the modding of that as well. It's listed in my videos. If you have any questions, just let me know, and we'll go from there. Have a great day.